All right, welcome everybody. My name is Charles Thompson, Presidential Director here at Power. Welcome to the Power Certified Real Estate Advisor Overview. This session is specifically geared towards the FPL territory in Florida. Let's talk a little bit about who we are. We are a software-based company. We've created a disruptive platform. We believe, and we've already seen that it's having a dramatic effect on those real estate agents and brokers who are using this platform. What we do is we basically connect three different audiences. The first audience is the homeowner, answer a few questions, choose the best proposal, and then they start saving money on solar month number one. We connect those people with our 1099 agents and advisors. You would be included in that if you choose to monetize this type of relationship. And then they're connected to the best local providers vis-a-vis our group of solar expert sales professionals and designers. Very simple conversation. Our mission and vision is to accelerate the adoption of clean energy on a global basis and to panel 2 million homes by 2025. And while we do that, having major impact, we're also creating a significant amount of income for our partners. Over $2 billion will be paid out during that process. The market looks like this. Obviously, there's 50 states. There's 130 million single-family homes that are plugged into what we know as a dirty energy grid. And currently, if you look at the platform, 90 million of those are eligible for what we call zero-down solar. Currently, only 2 million, approximately 2 million have already converted to solar. And if you think about that, there's also about 2 million agents in the United States and Canada. Just think about this partnership and how we could dramatically impact the adoption of clean energy on a worldwide basis. There's really 5 reasons homeowners go solar. The first is to either reduce or eliminate that bill. It's an asset that continues to grow because what you've done is you've taken control of the cost of energy. It's stabilized at one cost. You put those panels on top of the roof or in the backyard. Now they have a power plant at a fixed operating cost for virtually the rest of their life. So it's a very solid investment and it substantially reduces the environmental impact. The reason and what's driving it is that homeowners see an immediate savings on their energy bill. You see a wide range here at 5 to 40%. In Florida, it starts out about 10 to 15% typically energy savings day one, increases the home value day one. There's 3 separate studies. There's the Lawrence Berkeley study we're referencing here on the screen. Fannie Mae has also done their own. They actually value solar at $4 per watt, and I'll come back to that in a minute. And then there's a National Renewable Energy Laboratory study that values solar even higher than both of those. We prefer to stay conservative. We'll stick with the Fannie Mae study at $4 per watt. So if you think about the average system in Florida, it's about 7 kW, which is 7,000 watts. At $4 per watt, that's over $20,000 in additional value at that home. And we'll talk about Fannie Mae in a moment. What that does is it fixes the energy cost in for that homeowner virtually for the rest of their life. And if they take out a loan to pay for that system, when that loan is completely paid off, they no longer pay for any of that energy. So you talk about control. They have complete control of their energy costs. They can predict what that cost will be for the rest of the life. So no matter whether they're economically benefited or they're retired or whatever their situation may be, there is a benefit of the homeowner going solar. This is what we're seeing. We're seeing agents already benefiting by using this to sell more homes, avoid losing a sale by being educated on solar. They become a trusted advisor in their network because they're educated on solar. And by the way, you create an additional revenue stream without really taking the focus off of what you're doing, which is selling real estate. Here's the real big impact. If you look at what's happening, most recent law I'll talk about in a minute, but prior to that was Miami. Miami passed a law that with any new construction, the home must retrofit to solar. And it was modified over 15%, the same thing. Here's the biggie. California just passed a law back May 9th, where by January 1, 2020, any new construction or renovated homes must go solar. If you think about that, the impact of when states like California, like Florida, Texas, New York, make those types of laws, they tend to start to trend throughout the rest of the country. So you can get ahead of that. And here's where you really want to be. I mentioned there's only 2 million homes that have converted to solar. It's growing significantly every single month and every single year. But look at the Builder magazine. They estimate that by 2030, 72 million homes will convert to solar. Think about that. If you look back at the cell phone days when they first came out, we had the white bricks and very few people had it. Once more and more people had it and confidence and trust took place, it just became a mass adoption. And that's what we'll be seeing in solar. And largely because you are the trusted advisor. Who do they trust more than solar? There's no more person perfectly positioned or qualified than a real estate agent. When closing on a home, you can decide right at that time. You're making referrals already for pool, for services, etc. Homeowners are looking at solar. And as those laws start to take place and more people are moving throughout the country, they're going to expect to know about and learn about the benefits of solar so you can become educated. And we are in real need of highly educated, sophisticated real estate people like yourselves. Now, that being said, Fannie Mae just changed the law here in the past 24 months that require homes to be appraised that have solar. For an FHA loan, that's substantial. Their typical valuation is $4 per watt. Back on a 7 kW system, that's $21,000 in additional value through FHA. Just as an example, here's how you kind of tie it all together. And I'm sure you know what you pay for a gallon of gas. We can shop around. We all want to shop around for gas, but maybe we use 20, 30, 40 gallons of gas on a monthly basis. So think about that. If 10, 15, 20 years ago, whenever that price was less than $1 in your market, if you were given an opportunity back then to lock in the price for your gas at less than $1, knowing what you know now, and somebody offered you a piece of paper that said you sign here with zero out-of-pocket cost, every gallon of gas you purchase will be locked in at 90 cents. Would you have taken advantage of that? And I know every person I speak with in person says, absolutely, I would have. Well, if you look at this solar panel, that's what solar affords your homeowners the ability to do, to lock in their cost of energy for the rest of their life. That's the benefit of solar. Well, let's talk about what that means. If we look at what the kilowatt hour of energy, and most people don't really know what a kilowatt hour is. If I take a look up there, I've got a 100-watt light bulb up above me. If that light was illuminated for 10 hours, that would burn 1,000 watts, which is 1 kilowatt hour in this measurement. So a kilowatt hour is just really a measurement, much like a gallon is for gasoline. So let's take a look at how you get billed in FPL. You get billed for the first 1,000 kilowatt hours at one rate, and then everything over 1,000 kilowatt hours is another rate. And by the way, now you're starting to get demand charges and all kinds of other things that are going to start surprising you when you look at your bill. So you're already renting thousands of kilowatt hours of energy. You'd want to know how you pay for it. If you take the very bottom number here, which is the total amount, forget all these hidden charges, gross receipts taxes, utility taxes, bonus, all these other taxes are based upon how many kilowatt hours you're renting. So take that total number, divide it by the number of kilowatt hours you consumed for that given billing cycle. That is what you're paying for a kilowatt hour of energy. Let's take a look at that a little bit and look at the market. In Florida, particularly with FPL, your prices are on the high side. They're not extremely high like California and New York, but they're pretty high. They're 12% above the national average. Take a look at those numbers. This is from the Energy Information Administration, not from me. This is where our data comes from. FPL just started seeing an increase in your rates because of a recent approval. You take a look at here. By the way, did they ask you? Did they call you? Did they call your customers and ask if they could raise those rates? Or did they just arbitrarily partner up with the legal system and start to increase your prices? They don't call you and ask for permission. They're in control. Solar gives your homeowners control and predictability over their energy for the rest of their life. Just some examples here. There's another one's coming out. Whether you've started to see the impact of your bill or not, the Palm Beach Post. FPL customers are going to pay $1.3 billion for the damages caused by Irma. There's been other storms that are coming through. There's a massive storm that just hit Florida here recently and the whole panhandle. That's what happens. And who pays for that? We do. But every single kilowatt hour you're paying for is how you're paying for it. As you convert to solar, here's what it's going to look like. Take a look at this bill and you can see how they were paying hundreds of dollars, thousands over the year, and look at what happened to their consumption of solar as they converted. Consumption of kilowatt hours as they converted to solar. Guess what? That also impacts what they're paying for all those other hidden costs. No longer are they paying for those because it's based upon how many kilowatt hours you consume in that billable pay period. So here's a great example of one of many of our customers that we have. Here's another fantastic example. Take a look at the huge drop. They were renting energy. You can see how peaked they were, well over 1,000 kilowatt hours energy. They went to solar, zero. Look at their bill, $9.42. One more example. Bill before solar, $225. Look at the savings they're going to see. That's warranted, that's guaranteed by us, that they're going to see over the life cycle of that system, over $100,000. And look at the value. It was a 10 kW system. So if we just use Fannie Mae, $4 per watt, that would have been $40,000 in additional valuation. I know we get controversial, we start talking about appraised value and all those things, but this is why the education is important. And as you complete the courses that we'll bring you through that are at no cost to you, you'll be fully educated on the benefits of solar, and you'll be able to guide your homeowners through the process should you desire to take that task on. But why would you do that? Because right now you're losing homes in some cases to solar, not as bad as states like New York and California that already suffered from the leasing programs that came out. But Florida just kicked off the leasing programs, and your customers buy from you more than once. If you educate them on the benefits of owning solar versus leasing, that home will be readily available on the next transaction because you'll be educated. The homeowner will convert to solar using a loan, and you won't have to deal with any of the encumbrances that typically you have to deal with in the real estate transaction when it's done through a lease. How do we do that? You participate in our Certified Real Estate Advisor course. It starts with a 1.5-hour course in solar mastery. That course will give you more knowledge than 90% of the people who walk the face of the earth with regard to solar. Talk about the economic benefits, talk about the financing, talk about everything that goes along through that. And once you're certified, you're able to begin offering those services to your customer. How our company works, step one, you become a member of our company. You attend that university program. You have other university programs that we made available to you if you choose to participate in the team building aspect where you can potentially override other people and maybe even want to look at adding this to what you do and become a consultant where you can get thousands of dollars in commissions. Those are options for you. We want you to look at first becoming an advocate for a company. It's a very, very simple program. The second step is you invite homeowners to receive a free proposal. You don't do any of the selling. You refer them to a local expert who understands the FPL market. And guess what? You can also refer them to people in any of the 43 states that we have coverage. Puerto Rico and Canada and Australia are all part of our coverage map. You can provide those referrals to any homeowners in those markets. Step number 3, they get connected to the best local and regional solar providers that we have in our network through our experts. So they'll be worked with directly by a representative of our company, and we will oversee the installation and service of that system. And then the last step, perhaps the most important for some, is you get paid. And I'll share with you a little bit about that process. It's very, very simple. It works like this. First step, you're going to collect a bill. You're going to introduce the homeowner into our platform by collecting a copy of their energy bill. That's step number 1. Step number 2, you transfer that lead, that information over to an expert for the FPL market or any specific market. Step number 3, you walk them through the process. You participate. You understand. You submit the lead, very simple. You transfer that over to the expert. And then from there, we take over. We qualify the lead. You can stay involved in the process, at least see the process through the platform. We qualify the lead. Once we've qualified the lead and we actually present the proposal, that triggers the first commission. Now, it's not a significant commission, it's a stipend. But that's something that can offset a lot of your administrative costs, your marketing costs, etc. And in step number 5, if they sign a contract to go solar, we apply for a permit. And once we've got that permit applied for, which is generally 1 to 3 weeks from the day they sign that contract, that triggers a commission of 50% of what the commissionable volume will be. If it's a referral, it's $500 to $600 commission. So you get half of that the day that we apply for the permit, and then the other half when the system's installed. So there's 3 monetary triggers for the appointment being held, for the permit, and for the installation. Very simple process, but your sole job in that relationship is referring by submitting and transferring that over to the expert. Everything else falls in our court. From there, how you get started, you become an advocate in our platform. You enroll, you can start to submit those clients, complete that solar mastery certification course. You get a physical copy of a handbook that will really walk you through all of the benefits of what our platform can deliver. And then if you desire, you can advance to become a consultant. You can use solar as part of your closing transactions. And I'm sure the wonderful group there in Florida will introduce you to how all of that works. How do you do that? You secure a simple license of $99. Your return on investment is basically 3 referrals into the platform that sit down for an appointment. Obviously, one solar installation will 5 or 6-fold the return on that investment. The investment just helps us pay for our platform. We spent over $10 million creating the platform that we have today. We offset our continued investment in that platform through our basic licensing fees, much like a real estate license, office license, etc. The wrap up here is there's really 3 main benefits that your clients will enjoy. The reasons you want to refer them to solar is they'll enjoy significant tax savings if they have a tax liability. They can increase their home equity simply by going solar, and they can potentially save tens of thousands of dollars over the course of owning their solar system. So that's all the information we have for you here today. You've got a great group of people who are staying on the line with you. They'll fill in any gaps, answer any questions that you have, help us adopt the clean energy across the United States of America and across the world, and we hope to be able to help you become a trusted advisor in the real estate community. We thank you for participating today. We hope that this time was informative and well spent, and have an amazing day. I'll leave you in the wonderful hands of our team there in Florida. Thank you for attending.